The black goo of Caracas, a mysterious, greasy black substance that appeared on a Venezuelan highway and caused hundreds of fatal accidents. There are some roads in this world that people avoid, not because they're broken, but because something on them refuses to be understood. If you enjoy real-life mysteries that feel darker than fiction, make sure you hit like and subscribe, because tonight's story isn't just unsettling. It's something that has haunted an entire city for decades. It begins in Caracas, a place full of noise, movement, life, and one stretch of highway that slowly turned into something else entirely. Something no one could explain. In 1986, road workers were repairing a busy highway that connected the city to the airport. It was routine work, cracked asphalt, worn-out surfaces, nothing unusual. Until one of them noticed it. A dark patch. First, it looked like oil, maybe spilled fuel. That wouldn't be strange on a highway. But when one worker stepped closer, his boot didn't just touch it. It sank slightly. The substance wasn't liquid. It wasn't solid either. It clung. Sticky, thick, black, like something alive. They scraped it off, cleaned the road, finished the job, and for a moment, everything seemed normal again. But the next morning, it was back. They called it La Mancha Negra, the black stain. At first, it covered only a small stretch, just a few meters, easy to ignore, easy to dismiss. But over the next few weeks, it began to spread, slowly, quietly, like it was growing. Drivers passing through started to notice something strange. Tires would lose grip, even at low speeds. Cars would slide without warning. Steering would feel wrong, like the road beneath them wasn't stable anymore. And then, the accidents began. One driver described it like this: "It felt like driving on ice, but worse, because you don't see it coming." Vehicles spun out of control. Trucks overturned. Motorcycles skidded violently across the highway. There were no warning signs, no visible reason, just a dark, greasy stretch of road that turned deadly the moment you touched it. Within just a few years, that small stain had spread across miles of highway, stretching up to 13 kilometers in length. And the death toll kept rising. Some reports claim that over 1,800 people lost their lives on that road within 5 years. Think about that for a second. One road, one substance, hundreds of fatal accidents. But what made it even more terrifying wasn't just what it did, it was how it behaved. Witnesses claimed the black goo would change depending on the weather. On hot, humid days, it expanded. On colder nights, it shrank, almost like it was reacting, adapting, and it didn't spread randomly. Preferred certain places, tunnels, slopes, curves in the road, the exact locations where accidents would be the most deadly. Authorities tried everything. They scrubbed it, burned it, covered it with lime, replaced entire sections of asphalt. Nothing worked. No matter what they did, came back, again, and again, and again. One engineer reportedly said, "We clean it away, and it returns the next day." Imagine working on something like that. Imagine knowing that no matter what you do, you can't stop it. But here's where things start to feel wrong, because the more scientists studied it, the less sense it made. Some believed it was just poor quality asphalt, materials breaking down under heat. Others thought it was oil seeping from underground. Venezuela does sit on massive petroleum reserves. But both theories had problems. Big ones, because nothing like this had ever been seen anywhere else. Not like this, not with this behavior, not with this level of danger. And then, the rumors started. People began to whisper things that didn't belong in science reports or official statements. They said the substance wasn't just chemical. It was something else. Drivers claimed their cars didn't just slip. They felt pulled, like something underneath the tires was dragging them. Others swore the stain looked different at night, darker, thicker, moving just slightly when no one was watching. Taxi drivers, people who knew those roads better than anyone, began refusing to take passengers through certain areas. no matter how much money was offered, because they believed something simple: that road wasn't safe anymore. Not because of bad engineering, not because of human error, but because something was there, something that shouldn't be. And then, just as suddenly as it had appeared, the black stain disappeared. No warning, no explanation. One day it was gone. Clean roads, dry asphalt, as if nothing had ever happened. But the story didn't end there, because a few years later, came back. And this time, people started asking a much darker question. What if it never left at all? What if it was just waiting? What if it was never really gone? That question didn't come from scientists or engineers. It came from the people who drove that road every day. The ones who had seen things, felt things, that didn't fit into any official explanation. Because even after the highway looked clean again, something still felt wrong. Drivers began reporting the same sensation. Not slipping this time, but resistance. Like their tires were dragging across something invisible. Engines would strain for no reason. Fuel consumption would spike on that exact stretch, and then return to normal once they passed it. No black stain, no visible cause, just the feeling that something was still there. And then came the sounds. Late at night, when traffic thinned and the city noise faded, some drivers claimed they could hear it. Faint, sticky pulling noise, almost like wet rubber peeling away from the ground. Over and over again, they would stop their cars, step out, look around. Nothing, just empty road under dim streetlights. But the moment they got back in and started driving, the sound returned. Right beneath them, authorities reopened investigations. Quietly this time, they didn't want panic. Officially, the explanation stayed the same: degraded asphalt, oil residue, environmental conditions. But internally, there were doubts, because samples taken during the earlier outbreaks had shown something strange. The composition wasn't consistent. Different sections of the goo had different chemical structures, as if it wasn't one substance, but many, combined, or worse, changing. One report, never fully released to the public, suggested that the material showed signs of reacting to pressure and heat in unpredictable ways. Not just melting or hardening, but shifting, almost like it was adjusting its properties, depending on what touched it: rubber, metal, heat from tires. Each interaction, slightly different. And then there were the patterns. When investigators mapped out where the worst accidents had happened, they noticed something disturbing. The most dangerous zones weren't random. They aligned almost perfectly with areas where drivers were forced to make quick decisions. Sharp curves, downhill slopes, tunnel entrances. Places where a single moment of lost control meant no recovery. It was too precise, too deliberate. Of course, no one officially said that. They couldn't, because the alternative didn't make sense. Roads don't think. Substances don't plan. At least, they're not supposed to. But the stories didn't stop. A truck driver once claimed that while driving through one of the old black zones, his vehicle suddenly jerked to the side. Not a skid, a pull, like something had grabbed one wheel and yanked it. He managed to regain control, barely. When he checked the tire afterward, there was nothing there. No oil, no residue, no damage, just a faint smell, burnt, chemical, and something else, something he couldn't describe. Another witness, a motorcyclist, described a moment that still unsettles investigators to this day. He said the road ahead of him looked wet, not shiny like water, darker, thicker. He slowed down, and as he got closer, he swore he saw it shift, just slightly, like a slow ripple passing through it. He didn't ride over it. He turned around, and he never went back. By the early 1990s, reports faded. Not because the mystery was solved, but because people stopped talking about it. Maybe out of fear, maybe out of exhaustion, or maybe because some questions don't have answers people want to hear. Today, the highway still exists. Cars still pass through it every single day. Most drivers never notice anything unusual. No black stain, no slipping tires, no strange sounds. Just another road in another busy city. But every now and then, someone feels it. That brief moment where the car doesn't respond the way it should, where the road feels wrong. And for just a second, there's a thought, a quiet, unsettling thought. What if it's still here, not visible, not spreading across the surface like before, but underneath, waiting? Because whatever La Mancha Negra really was, it didn't behave like something ordinary. It didn't follow rules. It didn't stay gone. And it certainly didn't care how many lives it took. Some mysteries fade with time. They get explained, broken down, filed away. This one didn't. It just went quiet. And sometimes, the quiet ones are the worst, because they leave you with one final question. Not what it was, but whether it's still out there. If you found this story as disturbing as it sounds, make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel, because there are more real mysteries like this, stories that don't just stay on the screen, but follow you long after the video ends.